All right, welcome to the first edition of FitStudios Talk. I am your FitStudios founder, Adam Theodoro, and this is our personal training director, Steven Stamkos. Steven Strumos.
I wish.
So today what we want to do is we here at the front lines see a lot of people that either are reluctant to get started with something, or scared to commit to something that's going to be long term, or don't want to try to get out of the kind of routine that they're in, which has been, I guess, given to them with this unstructured lifestyle that COVID has brought up. So today we want to give you some helpful things that you can maybe do to get out of your funk. So I guess firstly, what are the things that you're seeing with clients in terms of people not being able to get on a structured nutrition program, or people not getting on a structured exercise program? What is the difference prior to COVID coming in, and what is the difference now that you're seeing with people?
Well, the biggest thing that I've seen is that because people were forced to stay home, they were completely knocked out of their routine. Home was just a place that they either did work or spend family time, and now it had to be the place where they do everything, where they cook, eat, sleep, work, and work out and do all these things. So now that was their normal now, instead of going somewhere else outside of their routine to build a workout routine. And it just messed everybody up to the point where they just got tired of working out at home. They got their setups and everything ready, and then they did it for a bit, but it lost its charm because their home became almost like a prison in a way.
So do you think this is a motivation issue, or is this a structure issue?
I think it's a bit of both, but I think it's the routine that people were knocked out of. So really it is a structure issue, I think, because usually what people would do normally before COVID, is they would go out to a gym, and that would be their time when they would flick the switch in their head, hey, this is my time to work out. They would come back and then flick the switch, go back into their home life, but that was completely disrupted. So the structure and the routine was gone.
Almost like an escape, right?
Exactly.
I know that many moons ago, when I used to be on the floor with clients, people used to use the route to and from work as the reason to go get a gym membership or start working with a coach that's somewhere along that transit line from when they leave the house in the morning, either prior to work or obviously when they're leaving work and they're on their way home. So you take the structure out of people's lives, you take, I guess, a forced situation that normally would have happened when people get up and go to work and have everyday errands that they run around, and now you have this isolated lifestyle that lacks structure. How do people get out of it? Like, how does someone start that? I mean, what I keep hearing from other industry professionals is everyone is kind of in the same boat. Everyone has gained weight. Everyone is adapted to these unhealthy lifestyle habits. Everyone's eating more, drinking more, exercising less, and being less active in general. How do you get out of it? Where do you start?
That's the $1 million question, right? I think getting started is the hardest part, but you have to have a structured plan. It can't just be like, I'm going to start working out. You have to be on some sort of program. Hey, I'm going to commit to 2 or 3 times a week to myself and run with it from there. There has to be a plan, or else there's no way that you're going to stick with it. It has to start there.
Okay, so if I'm someone who hasn't done anything over COVID, who right now time is, I guess, of the essence. Like, we keep hearing that people don't have time, and they don't have time to start on a program. How long or how much commitment would the average person take just to get started with something?
Well, I usually advise the clients at least try to give yourself 3 times a week. That doesn't necessarily have to be a full hour. 3 times a week, if you can even dedicate 15 to 20 minutes 3 times a week just to get yourself started, get the ball rolling, that in itself is worth its weight in gold.
Okay, and then what about the nutrition side of things? Because that's kind of a big one too, right? Like, we know that you can't out-train a poor diet,
Yep.
or poor eating habits. How do you start with the nutrition side of things? Like, if you don't know what to do and you've gained 20 plus pounds over COVID, where do you start? Do you just slowly start cutting back the amount of food that you're eating, or do you recommend getting a structured nutrition program?
Well, I think it's got to start with trying to find out where you're at to begin with. So you have to start tracking what you're eating to some degree. Like, you have to know where your baseline is, or what your eating habits are, how many calories you're getting in on average, and just tracking alone will tell you a ton of information.
What do you mean by tracking? Like writing stuff down in a food journal?
It could be that. It could be using an app, whatever tracking software or service you want to use, just something to bring awareness. Like, a lot of the time, without even giving a structured plan, just telling someone to be aware and to track it, whether it's writing down or putting it into an app like a MyFitnessPal or something like that, that alone, you don't even have to give any suggestions. A lot of times they will eat less or eat better just because they're more aware of how many calories they're actually taking in. So that's always a good place to start.
Absolutely, I agree. So what we're going to do actually is at the bottom of this, we're going to add all the apps and stuff that we can use. So we'll give you guys some tracking apps that you can use afterwards. MyFitnessPal is one that you mentioned. We'll list a couple of them that we use here. I heard a stat not too long ago that people are 3 times more likely to achieve a weight loss goal if they actually track their food versus people that just try eating better, because it gives them quantitative data in terms of how much and the quantity of food that they're actually consuming. Should people be concerned with macronutrients? I know that sounds foreign to some people, but should a person starting off on a diet start focusing on the specifics of what they're eating, or should they just start tracking to get started?
Especially if time is an issue, I would focus just on tracking to begin with. At least calories are the number one thing, like calories in, calories out is what's going to determine weight loss or weight gain, regardless of the macros for the most part. So I would start there, and then you can really get into the details more as you go. But, one step at a time is usually what I recommend.
Agreed. So for all you people out there that are stuck, we'll call it struggling. You're stuck and you're struggling in a position where you lack the motivation to get started. You've gained weight and you don't like the way that you're looking and feeling these days, and you need to start somewhere and you know it and you lack time. What we have today for you is something that we're going to list at the bottom of this. There's going to be a link and you can explain exactly what we're going to give away. And we're going to challenge you for 30 days to take a no financial commitment, but commit to yourself for 30 days. And we think that you can get started with some momentum. And if it's fitness and nutrition program, what is it that we're going to do?
So what we've put together with myself and some of the other coaches here is a 30-day fat loss workout plan. So we've got 3 different days of workouts demonstrated by myself and a couple of the other coaches, walking you through 3 different routines that we're challenging you to do for 3 days a week for 30 days, just to get you started on a routine and jumpstart that result process.
Perfect. Got nothing to lose other than weight. We're going to put the link down in below, as well as the apps that we were talking about for tracking. If you guys have any questions for us, feel free to respond or DM us in the links. Other than that, we're going to post it's free, right? No obligation.
Free. Yep.
It's free to you, no charge. We just want to see you get moving and start feeling better about yourself. Until next time, we'll catch you on the FitStudios Fitness.